struggle is real. The struggle is real. That's what a lot of you believe. And you believe that you should be struggling, and that life, you're going to lead your life in struggle. You're going to find your life constantly in struggle, and you're going to end your life in struggle. And many of you accept that as just the way life is. But I'm here to tell you, but that is not how life is, nor how life should be. And what we can do is start to free ourselves from this life of struggle. How do we do that? We do that with alchemy. We do that with understanding natural law. We do that with understanding the hermetic laws and how the universe actually functions, and bringing that into an alchemical state within our minds, within our bodies, within our action, within our spirit, within all our relationships. So stick with me for a few minutes, and I'm going to tell you guys I'm going to give you guys the pathway to begin that process. So what's up, everybody? How you doing? This is your Coach Renz. I want to thank everybody for visiting with me. If you are a subscriber on my YouTube channel, I appreciate you guys for subscribing. If you're on Facebook, subscribe to my YouTube channel. But if you follow me on Facebook, I appreciate you guys as well. And for all my patrons, I'm really thankful for you guys. I appreciate you. And of course, if you're on my Patreon, send me your suggestions. Tell me your comments. Your suggestions will be the first thing that I look at as far as doing what you guys want me to do, what you want me to bring to you. And that's what this channel is all about, bringing it to you. Not about me, but bringing it to you. So if you're finding me for the first time, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I greatly appreciate it, and watch some of the other videos that we'll post at the end of this video. So a person asked me, what is alchemy? And even though I know they asked the question of what is alchemy, I can give them a basic answer. Alchemy is the transmutation of one thing to another, turning water into wine, turning a negative into a positive, turning straw into gold. That is all alchemy is the transmutation of one thing to another. In the medieval times, they looked at it as something that you transmuted metals from lead to gold, and then it gave off the elixir of life, which was the fountain of youth. It can also heal every element that could possibly be on the planet and in the universe, for that matter. That's a simple understanding of alchemy. It is a middle-aged European understanding of alchemy, brought down to its bare essence, to its minimal. But truly, what has been learned throughout the centuries, throughout all wise and golden ages of civilization, through those who are with wisdom, is that alchemy is much more than just transmuting metal into gold. But it is about the transmutation of your entire life and your entire being. And many of you will suffer your entire life because you will fail to grasp this key, this understanding, that within alchemy is your freedom. Within the understanding, the true meaning of alchemy is your freedom. That alchemy derives itself from the hermetic laws, the natural laws that govern the universe. Nothing in this universe happens outside of natural law. It's an impossibility. It's an impossibility. And what we want to do here at the Alchemy of Life is that we're going to teach you that. When, the Temple of Wisdom will use the Alchemy of Life to teach you exactly that. And I appreciate you guys being here for me to be able to impart what I've learned. And there is plenty more for me to learn. Plenty for me to learn. So let's begin. How to end your misery. How to end the struggle that's been going on in your life. Well, it starts first with your mind. It starts first with your mind. You see, many of you have grown up in traditions and cultures and families and religions and households that taught you that suffering was a good thing. That a thorn in your side is supposed to remain. Told you that His grace is enough. Told you that the poor shall inherit the earth. That the meek will go first. Those who are last will go first. It has told you these things. It has kept you in a state that makes you feel and believe that the more you suffer, the closer you are getting to satisfying your karma, to satisfying your dharma, so that you breathe in that prana but you release into your nirvana. It is these traditional teachings that have kept people poor, that has kept people in poor health, that has kept people in poor relationships, that has kept you in a poor state of mind, because it allows you to find complacency in that. Complacency in it. So I want to take a few minutes of your time, if you will, to slightly discuss how to break free from this. Just slightly. I don't want to give you too much. We can talk about chakras. We can talk about energy. We can talk about nadis. We can talk about your twin flame. We can talk about raising your kundalini. We can talk about the Christ consciousness or the Buddha mind. But if we don't have a base understanding and have a base realization, none of those things will matter. None will matter. Because your life will continue to revolve in the same circles that it's been revolving in. You'll continue to go through relationship after relationship having the same results. You'll continue to go through money after money, finances after finances, and have the same results. You'll continue to go through health program after health program and have the same results. You'll have friend after friend and yet have the same result. Why? Because you haven't changed your state. You haven't changed your state of being. You haven't changed your mind. You haven't changed your energy, your vibration, your frequency. Those things about you have not changed. So until you change them, they won't. You know, a very popular part of the Christian Bible, and well, actually, this is in the Old Testament. So it's the Christian Bible, the Torah, and the Quran. It's in all three, the Abrahamic religion. It says tithe. Well, a man robbed God, but yet he has robbed me. It tells you to tithe. And this is not a discussion about tithe, but it says tithe. It says, test me in these things, and it will be pressed down, shaken up, and overflowing. Now, it's not talking about if you tithe money, you'll get the pressed down, overflowing in your time. You can get more time. You get your return on your investments in other ways. It says nothing of that. That is popular doctrine to make you is to keep you still trapped. That is just a doctrine made up by man. At no other time in history was that being taught. 500 years ago, no one taught that doctrine. 300 years ago, they didn't teach that doctrine. 1,000 years ago, they did not teach that doctrine. That is a doctrine of the industrial age. That if you give your money, it'll come back. But it could come back differently. You'll get your tithe back differently. No farmer would go out to plant corn and expect to get an apple grove. No person would go fishing and expect to catch a cow. No one would fire at a bird in the sky and expect to shoot down an ocean ship. You don't breathe out carbon dioxide and breathe in oxygen expecting not to breathe, to choke. You put out, you plant seeds, you take actions, and you expect a certain result. Now, you've been told that if you give your money, your tithe, that it will come back to you, pressed down, shaken, and overflowing. Whereas most of you have paid tithes, and you're still just as broke as you were previously. Now, how does alchemy affect the mind and the state when it comes to your finances? Quite simply. If I invest my money into something that's going to give me a return on my investment, meaning money, then I expect to get it back. If I invest in a stock market, if I invest in a mutual fund, if I invest in an IRA, if I invested in someone else's company, if I invested in my own company, your expectation is not to get your return back in another format. Your expectation is, if I buy a stock at $5 and then I sell that stock at $20, you don't expect that what's going to come back to you is 2 chickens. No, you expect your money to come back to you, pressed down, shaken forward, and overflowing, because you sold it, you bought it at 5, you sold it at 20, let's say 20. You expect $15 back. That's what you expect. That's your expectation. If you went to a broker and you gave them $5 and to buy a stock, and then a week later they sell it for, you sell it back to them, sell it back for $20, and they give you 2 chickens, how would you feel? Would you trust that broker ever again? Or would you say, no, I've tested you and you failed? So alchemy is testing it and expecting to get a result that is based on the framework of that you put the energy out. Alchemy is changing your mindset, changing your state, changing your energy from saying that in my past I've given out my money to something that I absolutely know will not return money to me, but I'm going to change my thought process. And I'm going to change my thought process from giving money to something that I know will not bring me a return to giving money to something that has an expectation of returning money to me. When you change that thought, you begin to change how you study and what you study that will return to you your investment. You then begin to become more intellectual concerning finances. You begin to realize that it takes you to save money in order to have money to invest. You realize that you can't live above your means anymore, that you can't rob Peter to pay Paul. You begin to learn these things, and it changes your mental state of your finances, which then change your physical state. Your cause and effect begin to change. Your actions begin to change. When those actions change, your results begin to change. That 10% you was given to the church is now a 10% you're putting into an IRA, a 10% you're putting into your 401k, even though I don't like them, 10% that you're putting into a business, 10% that you're going around and you're buying from garage sales and flipping on eBay or WhatsApp or any of those offer up programs. That 10% that was going into an entity that didn't return to you money back is now going to an entity that brings you money back, thereby changing your results, converting from one energy to another energy, a different energy, one thought to a different thought to another thought. And as you continue to develop piece by piece, the picture of the puzzle of you changes. That's right. As you begin to change it, piece by piece of your life, the picture of your life, that is you, begin to change. All of a sudden, you're not living paycheck to paycheck anymore. All of a sudden, you realize that if I can change my financial picture, I can change my physical picture. All of a sudden, you can't wear that size 16 no more. You're down to a size 12. You can't wear that 48 jacket no more. You're down to a 40. All of a sudden, you start to feel better. You start to move better. You begin to live life with more energy. Why? Because you change your physical state now. You change the way you eat. You see, alchemy occurs every time you eat. You put the food in. The contents of the food goes into your body, and then it changes into different states of being in order to provide nutrition for your food or waste if it's toxic. A person eating 2,000 calories a day of McDonald's and a person eating 2,000 calories a day of vegetables will have a completely different health level. Their health will be completely different. Their bodies will be completely different. You can take 2 twins. One eats 2,000 calories of McDonald's. The other eats 2,000 calories of fruits and vegetables. The one who eats the fruits and vegetables is going to be healthier than the one who eats the McDonald's. It turns to either nutrition for your body or poison for your body. Alchemically, it changes. And when that changes alchemically inside you, it changes alchemically outside you. You get into your relationships. If you're negative, if you have a negative mindset in your relationship, if you have a mindset in your relationship that is my way or the highway, is the only way things can be done is my way and no other way, and you're with somebody that is converse to you, you have a negative outlook in your relationship. If you have a decent relationship, But it's becoming complacent. It's becoming boring. It's becoming like something that you're just used to. And yet you want to maintain the status quo. That person wants to maintain the status quo. Then you're not going to change that relationship into anything better than what it is. As a matter of fact, it's going to get worse. It's going to get worse. Things are never stagnant in nature. In nature, everything is either living or is dying. It's either growing or is dying. One or the other. There is no stagnation. There is no gaps in nature where things just remain the same. They're either getting better or they're getting worse. They either they're going up towards an apex or they're descending down to the bottom of the pit. One or the other. Your relationship with your wife, your husband, with your children, with your family, with your job, with yourself, is either going up to an apex or is descending into the pits of hell. One or the other. One or the other. It may be going very slowly down, but it's going down. Why? Because alchemically you haven't changed your cause and effect. Alchemically you haven't changed your mental states of being. If you consider, just for a moment, how much work and energy you put into a job compared to how much work and energy you put into a relationship. If you're putting more work and energy into a job than you're putting into a relationship, then one is growing, one is dying. And I know some of you are going to say that I put equal time into both, and you maybe you're the rare one that does. But for the majority of you, that is not true. You may say that to yourself. You may even believe it, but you know it is not true. Because how many times do you sit back and you deny your partner whatever it is that makes them feel loved, whatever it is that makes them feel connected, whatever it is that makes them feel joy and happiness with you? How many times do you deny them that? And you maintain the denial. Now, how many times have you woken up? It's time for you to go to work. You want to say no. You want to say that you don't want to go, but you go. You get up and you go anyway. You get to work and you don't want to do this work. You don't want to do that work. You don't want to do this project. You don't want to deal with that customer. You don't want to deal with that client. You don't want to deal with that patient. You don't want to deal with this system or this other employee. You don't want to deal with all these reports. You don't want to deal with them, but you do it anyway. But then your mate says, let's go for a walk. No, I'm tired. I don't feel like going. Your mate says, let's go out to dinner. No, let's just eat at home. I'm tired. I don't want to go. Let's make love. Is that all I am? Is that all it is? Let's take a vacation. Nah, I don't want to go anywhere. I want to just stay right here on my vacation. No, I don't want to. I'll be tired from the vacation. Let's buy a new house. Nope, this house is just fine. This house is just fine. I bought this house when I first got my first job, and this is the house I'm going to die in. But it ain't y'all house. It's your house. How long do you think you can keep on doing that? If you don't understand that the relationship is always transforming, it's always changing. There's another constant in the universe, change. Change is always happening. Like I said, nothing lives, nothing is the same, nothing is stagnant. Something is always changing. So if you're not alchemically focused on changing and making your relationship better, if you scale the mountain, then what you need to realize is that that is not the top of the mountain, but just one peak of the mountain range, and you need to scale to the next highest peak. That you need to continue to scale, or not even go up and down and up and down. Scale it, realize that it's not the top of the mountain, but yet just a plateau. And then it continues to scale up higher. There's always higher elevations you can take in your relationship. Relationships never have to plummet. The relationship with yourself never has to plummet. Because the moment it does, it's dead. It's dead. It may take 5 years, 10 years, 20 years for you to see the results of its death, but it's dead. So we're going to spend a lot of time this year talking about the alchemy of life. How to change your vibration in order to move you up the polarity scale of life. in order to say that, you know what, my health, it is to the far left. I need to move it to the far right. How do we do that? Not just the mental aspects of it, but the physical aspects. My relationship is swinging, big rhythm swings. Today it's on a high. Tomorrow is on a low. This week was a great week. Next week is a horrible week. How do we stop that swing? Your money, your finances, your spirituality, your connections with other people. All these things are either overly masculine or overly feminine. They don't have balance. They're swinging too far to the right or too far to the left, and they keep going back and forth instead of polarizing in one area, one space, to the right. I'm living the same life. I can't figure out how to manifest things in my life, and the manifestations aren't happening as fast as I want them to happen. We must learn patience and how to truly manifest things in your life by understanding what is a want and what is a desire. We'll talk about these things throughout the year. And I look forward to you guys joining me as we discuss these things. And as other issues come up, we'll discuss those as well. And we'll deal with historical things as well to give you historical reference points and so that we can move forward in life. This is about manifesting, guys. This is about creating and growing and living your best life. We want to live our best life now and later. So I appreciate you guys, and I look forward to every live talk, every video. Now remember, this Tuesday, live, I will have Mystic Mama. Go to her website, mysticmamaherbals.com. Check her out. Get the information before we have the talk so that you have your questions ready. We are going to talk womb wellness. We are going to talk vaginal steams, the benefits of it as far as men and women are concerned, and as far as becoming, if you want to have a baby, if you want to manifest a child, how to increase your ability to manifest a child, get your fertility in the physical world going so that you can have that spirit baby, that immaculate conception. How to get rid of the cyst and the endometriosis and all these other pathologies in your system that is keeping you from being able to live your best life. And that's what it's about. I want you to live your best life. And although you may think that this may be a taboo subject, this is a subject for both men and women. It is not something that you hide from, because your life is at stake. Your happiness, your joy is at stake. Your comfort is at stake. Your ability to enjoy intimacy is at stake. So I expect to see all of you guys on January 8th, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Join me and Mystic Mama Zaire Sav, the womb goddess, and we're going to have this discussion. So I look forward to it. So watch these other videos and continue to subscribe. And I appreciate all my patrons. Remember, you got to free yourself to be yourself, because your greatness is not negotiable.